Hello everybody. Welcome to Wednesday evening Musicale. Welcome back if you've been joining me every week, and if this is your first time wandering in, glad to have you here. Each week I have a little theme for my concert, and tonight I picked the word resilience. Resilience. It's a good word, isn't it? I just checked up a meaning before doing this. I wanted to share it with you. The one I like that seems apropos to what we're going through is able to recoil, spring back into shape after bending, stretching, or being compressed. I would say we've been bent, stretched, and compressed out the wazoo this past few months. So in honor of that, I'm going to begin with a song that came to me years ago, straight out of a dream. I did come upon a river of tears, the grief of my sisters and brothers. It had grown so deep, I could not cross over to continue on my journey. It was wild and black, and it threw out a spray that stained my garments blood red. I was filled with fear, I was filled with pain, and I thought I would never cross over. I did build a raft from the bones of my mother who had drowned in that river of sorrow. I did bind those bones, all one to another, with the ropes of the captives now free. I did steer that raft with a long straight pole from a tree that my father had planted, and I set off into that treacherous flow with a trembling hope in my heart. And as I crossed that angry stream, I looked in the water all swirling, and it showed me the faces of the ones I had killed by refusing to fight for their freedom. And it showed me the faces of the ones who had died while trying to end the struggles. And their voices cried out, "Get to the shore and continue this work we've begun." And the water it dragged, and the water it pulled, and the pain it threatened to drown me. But I held my course and bore down on the pole from the tree that my father had planted. And I fell exhausted onto the shore as the raft splintered all into pieces. And a smile came to my weary face, for I heard those voices singing songs like tears, songs like rivers. I have carried them all on my journey, and it's these I'll sing until that river runs as dry as the bones of my mother. And it's these I'll sing until that river's but a valley where sorrow once raged. River of Tears. Some songs come, like that one, out of a dream, into reality of a piece, a gift. And some require a little more work. In fact, some would have never been written without an assignment, which brings me to this next song. I was hired to write music, this is a few years ago, for songs, lyrics and music for a musical play about Amelia Earhart. And I didn't know much about her, so I started delving into her life and her whole growing up, her background, how Amelia the girl became Amelia the woman. And it was a transformative experience to learn about her. I bring her up tonight because she's such a model of resilience. The playwright Laurie McLaughlin sadly died of breast cancer a few years ago, and the play kind of went away, but I was left with this music and this new understanding of this incredible human being. This quote is attributed to Amelia Earhart. Never interrupt someone in the middle of doing something you said couldn't be done. So if you're having a bad day, I think of this when I'm having a bad day. In her first flight, her solo flight across the Atlantic, okay, she leaves, there's a clear weather forecast. She's going to fly at night across the Atlantic. The first thing that happens is her altimeter breaks, so she has no idea how high she is, how low she is. And then her exhaust manifold caught on fire. Flames are coming out of her exhaust. Then a storm started rocking her around violently for an hour or two. And after the storm, her wings started icing up. So she flew lower. She flew so low, in fact, she could see the waves breaking beneath her to get away from the ice. But then the fog rolled in. So now she had to go up higher, but not too high. She had to find the line between the fog and the ice. Oh, also at this point, I don't think I told you yet, she had gas dripping down her neck and shoulder from a leaky tank. So she's flying blind. She's got gas leaking down her shoulder. Her exhaust manifold is shaking, vibrating dangerously. And she does this for about 10 hours, I guess, is what it amounts to. At one point, she says later, I remember thinking with vague detachment whether I would prefer dying by drowning or incineration. That's Amelia Earhart. So she finally found land. It was Ireland when she got there. She landed in a farmer's field. She's climbing out of the plane. This farmhand standing there didn't even know if she was a man or a woman, and says, Have you come from far away? And she answers with her classic equanimity and grace, from America. So this is my aria for Amelia Earhart and her resilience and her vision and her beauty. Everyone thinks when the eagle flies, it savors the freedom of flight. But maybe we anthropomorphize just because it's a beautiful sight. When the fledgling falls or is pushed from the nest, is it instinct alone that prevails? And who can explain the way we're possessed to go up, up, up with the wind at our tails? But there's one thing as clear as the sky on a day that was clearly meant to fly on. Each time I leave the ground, it feels brand new. Each time I touch back down, I'm thrilled clear through. Even walking's an extra kick when you've recently sailed the sky. And I can't wait to fly. We like to think wherever we're not is the place we must surely belong, chasing ourselves to the next perfect spot just to find we brought trouble along. Well, that stowaway trouble won't make a peep till we're damn sure we left it behind. Then it prickles our skin while we toss in our sleep till we wake with a restless heart and a mind. But there's one place where a mighty calm is as certain to soothe as old Gilead's balm is. Each time I leave the ground, it feels brand new. Each time I touch back down, I'm thrilled clear through. And even walking's an extra kick when you've recently sailed the sky. I can't wait to fly. I can't wait to drive. I'm missing those long, glorious drives, 10 hours or so, and on the road. When I drive, a lot of people think of it as a tedious thing, but for me, it's like a brain circus, lots going on at all times. And I'll tune into public radio, and it's always interesting because I'm driving in and out of listening patterns, so I don't always know how a story started. I land in the middle of it, or I get really engrossed in a story, and then I don't know how it ended because I drive out of the pattern. This one time, I dropped in the middle of a conversation, an interview with a neuroscientist, talking about the brain and they keep finding new areas of the brain that respond to things, figuring out why we behave the way we do. And the really fascinating thing about this discovery is that this trigger that they found in the brain, the same place lights up when a person is feeling revenge or when they're feeling forgiveness. I was so blown away by this, I had to pull over for a minute and ponder this. My first thought was, well, that gives us options. And I still feel that way. And you'll be happy to know that this song is called Sea of Forgiveness and not Sea of Revenge. Broken body to the altar of your dreams. The view from here is breathtaking, the sky on fire it seems, and buzzards pierce the coming dark like swords across the moon, and everything will play out soon. And if you must be swept away, let it be on the sea of forgiveness. Oh, it's a wonder you could make it from so low and dark a place. You're cold up here and naked, and the wind's harsh on your face. You almost had forgotten that you built so high and strong. Sometimes everything just turns out wrong. And if you must be swept away, let it be on the sea of forgiveness. Don't you love the sound of beating wings? They set your heart astir. You thought it might be eagles, but it's buzzards now, you're sure. Hey, buzzards aren't so bad. You know they have a job to do. They do it well, and they move on through. And if you must be swept away, let it be on the sea of forgiveness. Forgiveness. Sea of forgiveness. Forgiveness. That's another beautiful word, like resilience. Those of you who know me or are becoming familiar with me have probably figured out that I'm a language person. I love words and I have deep respect for the power of language. And it has so much power. It has the power as we learn, as we navigate our way through all of the information and misinformation floating around. It has the power to manipulate us. So we have to be vigilant. We have to pay attention. Remember what old Voltaire said. He said, those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Important to remember that. But language also has an astounding power to heal and reach deep and help us regenerate. And for me, the magic comes in as a writer when you have a word and you have the sound of the word itself, which is different than the meaning of the word. And then when you're putting it to a tune, you have the note, you have the sound of the note that comes into relationship with the sound of the word and the meaning of the word. And what happens is exponential, which is the same kind of thing that happens when a group of people get together and share their energies. You know, it gets exponential. It goes out and out. I like to think that Anne Philomeyer, the woman who wrote this poem I want to share with you, was at her kitchen table one night thinking about that, sort of thinking about the power of language and inviting in that transformative possibility. And so she had some guests. She had a visitation from the Vowels. They were invited into her kitchen, and each one got up on the table in front of her and testified as to its existence. And being a writer, of course, all she could do at that point was take notes. And in the morning, she had this piece, which is called The Vowels, a congregation of preachers. A. Abracadabra, allow almost anything, albeit astronomical. Allow alarming arguments. Ask and ask again. Alter artificial answers and arrive at aboriginal abandon, absolute anarchy, angelic anesthesia. Allow almost anyone asking to answer awakening awe. E. Exactly everyone eats. Everyone everywhere eats. Everyone's ethnic, everyone's eugenic, everyone's experimenting, especially esoteric evangelists. Everyone's everlasting. Everyone's evolving every day except extinct experts. Everyone's essential. Everyone's equally enchanting. Everyone's enacting extraordinary errors. Everyone's expecting everybody will explode. Eek! Everyone, exhale. Exhort existence. Expedite exaltation. Establish eternal ethics. Evoke exquisite ecstasy. Evolve, evince, excrete excuses. Excise excess. Everyone, everywhere. Exude exuberance. I illuminate. Invisible, I inhabit inner islands. I instigate intuitive insurgence. Is it irrelevant if I introduce iconoclastic ideas instead of idiotic idolatry? If I inscribe illumination inside irreversible, inspiring insight? I ignite invading introspection. Incredible ideas interrupt internal irony, interweaving instinct, intelligence, and intimacy. Invisible, I inhabit inner islands. Oh, onerous oneness, oppressive opponent of onlookers oozing old-fashioned omens. Oh, omnipotent old-timer ordering Olympian offspring, ovary, ovum, one's own overrated opera outwitting oneself. Oh, overgrown orphan, ostensibly orchestrating others, open-eyed opportunist, opinionated operator, oversized Old Testament ogre overworking ordinary oracles. Only once. Omniscience openly opened me only once. Om. You, usurpers, utter users, using useful until useless, utterly ugly, upward urbanites. Utopians unite, utmost urgent urchins, utilize unusual, undue uniformity, unman ultimate ulcers, undertake unthought of unions, unite universes, ubiquitous utopians, up, unique uprising, unsaddle unicorns, unlock universities, unmask unctuous Uncle Sam, unanimously, uncompromisingly understand unity. The Vowels by Anne Philomeyer. Thank you, Anne. I'm going to just switch to my dulcimer for a couple more songs this session. This next song is a song I could not have written in my 20s or my 30s or my 40s, just barely my 50s, so I'm glad I stuck around to see what I had to say. I'm just saying. Ooh, these tears fall more easily than they ever did before. And often unexpected things I don't question anymore. Babies laughing, sweethearts kissing a drifter's lonely face. Countless moments that sow the seeds of gratitude and grace. These tears are the evidence of happiness. You can sing that line with me, try it. These tears are the evidence of happiness. Happiness. These lines seem to be fighting for a spot upon my face. Each year before the mirror, more and more a map of place. They look just like the trip itself, twists and turns and straightaways. They show up mostly when I smile, and I smile a lot these days. These lines are the evidence of happiness. Come on now. These lines are the evidence of happiness. Happiness. Well, in the court of love, there's no judge and no jury. A lifetime of losses can't be counted in a hurry. In the court of love, there's only me, you see, and the evidence, so much evidence. This heart has been broken like the moon upon the sea, by lover and by culture, by my own inconstancy. But this heart has sung its way to joy and healed 1,000 times, so scarred and ever tender, full of melody and rhymes. This heart is the evidence of happiness. This heart is the evidence of happiness. Happiness. This life has not found its worth on the stairway to success, reveling more in alleyways and scenic routes, I guess. The journey is spectacular and the company's the best, and I will travel fearlessly till I'm happily at rest. Oh, this life is the evidence of happiness. This heart is the evidence. These lines are the evidence. These tears are the evidence of happiness. The evidence of happiness. I know a woman in Hout Bay, South Africa named Bon Geertz. She's lived a very full life. I've only known her for a very short part of her amazing life. But her being in my life was such an inspiration that I was moved to write a song about her. She's a woman who embodies resilience. She has incredible vision and expansiveness and wisdom, and she also knows how to just get on her hands and knees and dig in the dirt. She raises little land tortoises and plants, native plants. So she's got her branches in the air, and she's got her roots into the earth. And I was just moved to write a little song. It's just some stuff going on in her backyard, actually, Bonnie backyard. But as is so often the case with a richly lived life, there's a lot more going on besides what meets the eye. So I want you to join in with me, if you will, on this song in the chorus. It's a call and answer, and I'll sort of gesture to you when the time is right for you to jump in. Bonnie backyard. African robin sings up the sun. Sunbird picks up the tune and runs. Ah-dee-da, laugh like drunkards. Here come three whistling ducks, one by one. And it's corn for the birdies. You sing corn for the birdies, crumbs for the wormies, greens for the torties, coffee for the peoplies. So goes the morning, Bonnie backyard. Oh, chase a few squirrels, shoo that cat. Bicky's on the porch, such a lively chat. Pull a few weeds, bring in the dry laundry. Eat a few nasturtiums, oh, you can't beat that. Here we go. And it's corn for the birdies, crumbs for the wormies, greens for the torties, tea for the peoplies. So goes the day in Bonnie backyard. African robin sings up the moon. Southern Cross will come along soon. Hout Bay lights are winking good night. We've one more chance to sing this tune. Corn for the birdies, crumbs for the wormies, greens for the torties, wine for the peoplies. So goes the night in Bonnie backyard. One more time. Corn for the birdies, crumbs for the wormies, greens for the torties, water for the peoplies. So goes the world in Bonnie backyard. Yeah, Bonnie backyard. So I wanted to end this little Wednesday evening musicale on a note of celebration, hence Bonnie backyard. I encourage you to go to my website and visit my virtual tip vessel if you feel so inclined. Also, if you know somebody who didn't see this on Facebook or doesn't go on Facebook, direct them to my website, because all the videos I've been doing are up there, and I'd love for everybody to have access to them. We're all in this together. Even though we can't be together, we gotta keep it together. And I'm happy to be doing some small part to try to do that. I'll be back next week. I just want to leave you with a beautiful quote from Adrienne Rich, who said, "My heart is moved By all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who, age after age, perversely, and with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world. I believe we can do this. Good night. Each time I leave the ground, it feels brand new. Each time I touch back down, I'm thrilled clear through. Even walking's an extra kick when you've recently sailed the sky.